in Baltimore and WNST Fan Gallery. Got a guy here who once was a fan, a Baltimore fan, and apparently went to high school with the great James Schwartz as well as Chris Pica. Over
I
at Mount
played football
St.
with him.
Yeah, well, it's.
He was a crazy
Why
man.
does he look older than you? Why do you look good, Mike Freeman? Tell me.
First, he was a crazy man.
Schwartz or Pica?
Schwartz.
Oh, Schwartz, right.
But, yeah, it's Mount St. Joe, man. That was
The Mighty Gales.
the Mighty Gales. We used to get our asses kicked every week.
Well, who were you playing? Who were you playing?
Week. You know, like
Gilman, Loyola, Calvert Hall.
Yes.
Yes.
Destroyed,
McDonald, yes.
Destroyed every week, but it was fun. One of the best experiences of my life.
Look at how it turned out. You've spent a life writing about sports, and the new book is The Legendary Life of Ken Stabler, the Snake. And, you've written in a billion places about 28 Super Bowls for you, right?
A billion places. Yes, it feels like it. And it's around 28 Super Bowls. This one is, I don't know what's going to happen. This is one of the few Super Bowls where I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Well, I mean, you look up here, there's Tom Brady and someone else. Usually it's good money to bet on Tom Brady.
Usually, yeah, but this is different. It's a little unusual. The Falcons offer an offense that the Pats haven't really seen before like this. And it's going to be, they're going to have to score. The Falcons are going to make them work. I
like an old AFL track meet, right?
Yes.
That's what we're going to get here. Sling it. Bring it.
Now, Belichick will have some surprises, but it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be good.
All right. So, Mike, you've written a book here. How many books for you now?
8.
8. Okay.
9.
9.
Thank you, Gail. 9.
It's a good thing. You don't remember the damn books?
That's pretty good when you don't remember how many books
What kind of drugs are you
you've written.
getting, man? I mean, I want those drugs. I want to forget books that I've written. Although all my books
are my drug.
All my books have happy endings, though. And why the snake? I mean, this is an interesting topic for you to take on.
Well,
first of all, were you at the Ghost of the Post game? I was.
I was not.
I was.
Okay,
yes.
now I want to ask you, what was that?
Well, it was Christmas Eve, and it went on forever. And the number 23 bus stopped running out of Highlandtown, and my dad and I got trapped at Highland Avenue in Highlandtown.
Wow.
And we had to call the payphone to get my uncle to come get us. And my mom left the ham in the oven too long, and my dad was pissed beyond belief. I mean, it was Christmas Eve. I mean, you talk about anarchy in my house. So that's kind of how it went after Casper caught that pass. And I think my dad's been dead 24 years. He's still pissed at Marcia Broda, probably in heaven, up at a pearly gate saying, "What were you running the ball? What were you thinking?" Right? Okay, so that's all I remember about that game. It was only 40 years ago.
So why did I write the book? It was really, there hadn't been a lot of books about him. Really none. He wrote one.
He was a legendary figure amongst players that played with him and against him.
A huge figure, a really underrepresented figure, underrated guy. And never, really kind of like a lot of Raiders, hadn't gotten his due respect. And some of those Raider teams were really good. They won one Super Bowl, so a lot of people sort of knocked them because they only won one, that group. But they were incredible.
There were a bunch of good teams then. I mean, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Dolphins before
really
that.
Really good.
The Colts were pretty good.
The Colts were very good, too. Yeah. Dolphins went undefeated during Stabler's era. They always battled them. They always battled the Steelers, who won 4 Super Bowls in the 70s. So they went against
Franco
some really good.
Still didn't catch that ball. You know that,
no,
right?
He did not catch it.
He did not catch that ball.
No, he didn't. No, it was definitely at the ground.
But no conspiracy.
He was just a unique guy, and he was always just really nice to me. And
wow, okay, that's a wonderful thing. In our business, that means a lot.
He was a nice guy. That if he came in here, he would just sit here and talk to you and tell you stories. That was the legend of
him. The legend of him was the tails grew taller on down the line, right? And
no, but they were accurate though. The tails were accurate.
So anytime, look, I've done a couple of books myself. It really does become, it's a solitary thing for guys like us who may be more type A and more gregarious to sit alone and write a book. And anytime anybody writes a book, I'm like, what was the seed that, what were the 8 legs that put the table together to say, all right, I'm going to write this and make it worth talking about and write.
For me, it was over the years talking to a bunch of Raiders. Like all the great Raiders, like Gene Upshaw, the late Gene Upshaw, other guys that played with him, always were telling these stories about him. these crazy stories. And I never seen anyone really kind of put them all together. There were a couple books that did some of that, but he was to these guys, he is like a god. They genuinely loved him. And it's one of the things that I really loved about that team. All those guys stay tight all this time later. They all talk about him. They all talk about each other. They all stay in touch. Madden, all those guys are incredibly close. And that's one of the things that I think that made them great. And they talk about him like he was their brother, their closest friend. They loved him. So that was sort of the genesis of getting the book going.
Mike Freeman joining us here at Bleacher Report. Of course, you can follow his journey out on Twitter as well and doing lots of media stuff. Luke wants to talk about present-day football with you, I think.
Well, I just wanted to credit you on your 10 ways to fix the Pro Bowl. And number one, get rid of it.
Yeah.
I just had to laugh because that's what we're all thinking.
Dude, we watched it the other night. It still sucks.
It's not good. It's not good, but they're not going to get rid of it.
Sure. We know.
The ratings have fallen for a 6th straight year, but the numbers they're getting are stuff that a lot of TV executives will run over their grandma for.
They're not going to put a 30 for 30 replay on when they can get even bad ratings
even
for that.
Bad ratings
to
for that time for that time period is still, so they're not going to get rid of it, and you're going to keep seeing them add stuff. So it's just going to get a little too gimmicky. But
well, it got gimmicky, and they brought it back in this year.
A little bit.
They were wearing red and blue this year. The score was representative this year.
No fantasy football draft.
In the last 5, Deion Sanders wasn't running up and down the sideline acting like a fool. You know what I mean? Like that. It didn't feel like a pickup game the other night, and
no, it's just, but there needs to be more on the line. And I'm not saying do what baseball. I guess hockey does it too, where you give home. I mean, you can't do that kind of stuff.
They're already putting their bodies on the line for literally nothing. That's already
that's the problem. That's why it'll never be good. It's not. There's nothing at stake. Players don't want to go all out, and I don't blame them. They just put their bodies through a nasty physical season. Why do you want to do that?
Especially after 4 weeks off for most of these guys.
Right.
Jeremy Zuta, the phone rings on Wednesday, show up and start snapping the ball. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for him. It's not good for his agent. It's not good for his career.
And you're going to keep seeing players get rid of it, not playing it. They're going to keep bailing, and I can't blame them.
Look, I was watching the other night. It's third quarter. I'm a Raven fan. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And I looked, and I'm seeing Jeremy Zuta snap the ball to Andy Dalton, and David DeCastro's there, and they completely, we're talking about building the wall to Mexico. This was the Olay, and I'm thinking, Tyler Eifert got hurt in this game last year, screwed up the Bengals season, and now Marvin is, sitting down in South Carolina or something with his feet up, having a beverage, drinking a second glass of wine, watching this, saying, that's my quarterback. What is some slappy Raven center that had no business there?
What was it 2 years ago when I think that was the epitome of how bad it was? No one wants to play in it. They don't want to play in it. They like going and being around their guys and seeing other players and having fun. Like watching Odell Beckham hang with some of those guys was kind of fun. They like that part of it.
The camaraderie part of it.
Yeah.
They care about the honor.
Right.
And they like the camaraderie. But other than some select first-time, Kyle Juszczyk for the Ravens said how much he enjoyed it. But I guarantee if he had made the next 4 years from now, probably wouldn't have the same sense.
And what you're saying about Marvin, it drives coaches crazy. They just.
Oh my God!
I know coaches.
I don't think you can watch.
They don't want to watch it.
They don't want to look at their phone that night to know what happened. I mean, Mike, for this game and this matchup, and for where Brady is, and I know you've chronicled the Patriots as much as anybody has. It feels like there's no end to this thing. It really.
Yeah.
He's 39. They make the AFC Championship every year in his late 30s. I expect them to win Sunday. I'm doing all I can do here all week to bet against them and try to beat them, but I don't think we're going to beat them.
It's going to end at some point because even Brady is subject to age. Like even he can't beat age.
What are they doing to cheat now, Mike? You got your inside on that? Because I know
what
they're
fan
doing
are you
something.
again?
I know they're doing
Are you
something.
a Ravens fan?
I thought it was going to be Backpack Gate last night until it turned out it was just a reporter who took Kyle Shanahan's book bag.
All right.
Jarrett Bell saved the Super Bowl for the Falcons.
He did.
I don't think they're cheating.
You're the only one.
They're not. I don't think they are.
Because they would never cheat. And they got caught.
No, they would. No. I'm not saying they've never cheated.
What is your opinion on Deflategate?
I've come full circle. Initially, I thought there's no question they did it. And now the league didn't prove its case. It didn't prove its case. They handled it so horribly. The NFL
That was an independent review.
Well,
Independent.
in quotes. One of the thing that's happened with them that has been amazing to watch for me is watching them build up that defense. That's the one thing that is.
You mean like trading away Jamie Collins in Week 8, that sort of thing?
It's crazy.
Getting rid of Chandler Jones in his prime, that sort of thing.
It's crazy what they do. They make these crazy moves, and it.
Some people are still pissed about Lawyer Malloy. That was 6 Super Bowls ago.
And they just keep getting back. But it's Brady. It's all Brady. Not all. It's a lot of. It's Brady. When you throw so accurately, and you get all the time he gets, and he throws so fast. I mean, look at the receivers they're playing with.
We got the same pair of pants they issued him back in 2007, right? I mean, like, he doesn't get hit.
It's crazy.
And when he does, he brings the pink tutu out, and
he cries a lot.
He starts screaming
cries
at the
a lot.
officials.
He
right?
does. He does. He's the only quarterback that gets away with. Like Cam Newton gets flagged for that. He gets away with it. He screams at officials all the time.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing, and he gets away with it. And officials just stand there and take it. Other players talk to the officials like that. They get flagged. They're told to shut up. He doesn't. It's an amazing thing to see.
Mike Freeman here from Bleacher Report. The book is The Legendary Life of Ken Stabler. It is called, appropriately, Snake. And you can check it out on our Facebook Live as well as our YouTube. All right, you're a Baltimore guy. Where are you living these days? Where do you call home?
I'm in New Jersey.
You're in Jersey. The Ravens thing's fascinating this year. I mean, I've been on the boat since the time they landed with Paris Glendening, and this is the first off-season we're talking about. Hot seats for coaches.
It shouldn't be.
Ozzie, Eric.
Do you feel that?
I think we all feel it because they haven't made the playoffs 3 out of 4, and if it becomes 4 out of 5, and now you're 22 years into Ozzie, Steve's never blown up that side of the department. I don't think he has any desire to. No one's rooting for this thing to be more successful than Steve.
Right.
But, I mean, at some point, I don't want to say they have to behave like every other franchise or the banana republics that we see in places like San Francisco, where we'll talk about John Lynch in a minute. I would not want to see Steve Bisciotti hire Ed Reed to run the organization next year. I just wouldn't want to see that. But that being said, at some point, that stability thing wears off. We don't think about that in New England. I mean, even in Pittsburgh, where it feels like they're safe. Marvin's been safe forever in Cincinnati because of that ownership. I don't think Steve's reactionary to all this, but I saw the way Brian went out the side door without any warning, without any thought, with $20 million left on a contract. That tells me nobody's safe, as much as he loves John, as much as Ozzie. If somehow they go 5-11 next year, and they could, I mean, they have more questions. They have more questions than most of the teams in the league, I think. They're questioning their $25 million quarterback. They don't have a running game. They don't have a wide receiver. They have a tight end. They got to say their right tackle's going to the market. Their stud defensive tackle's going to go to the market. Their stud linebacker's career is over at 24. Their stud corner that they're paying can't get on the field. They do have a hell of a kicker, though, Mike. They got a kicker.
There's always Justin Tucker.
Here's what I would say. If they got rid of Ozzie Newsome, there will be 1,000 teams that would want him.
And that's just Alabama.
He is seen, no matter what people think of him in Baltimore, and I get it, I understand it, he's just seen as a genius around the league.
And he is.
Genuine genius that every owner that would have an opening would want him. Harbaugh's not much different. He's seen as a really talented coach.
They would both be out of work
for 2 seconds.
Yeah, right.
But you bring up a good point about just, do you make a change because a change is needed? Not doing what a lot of those other teams do, who just recycle coaches and get them out and fire them all the time, which is stupid. But if they do lose next season, maybe you make a change because you just have to. You need a different direction. Sometimes that's needed. Sometimes that's done in the NFL. And this may be the case. But
no one's ever picked a football player in a purple hat other than Ozzie Newsome. That's an incredible.
Because he's really good. He's really good. And people that complain about him need to just chill. He's very good. I think one of the other things, too, is just in the division, you look at the Steelers, and they feel a little bit like they've fallen behind, but I don't think they really have. I like the quarterback a lot. I think they're okay. You make a couple changes here and there, and I think they'll be all right. You can turn things around so fast.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
So fast. And the reason the Ravens are a stable, really great franchise is because they don't do stupid stuff. Now, not getting rid of them may not be stupid. Maybe you have to, but I like the fact that they've been patient and they're going to just kind of ride things a little bit and see what happens. I think that's a smart way to approach in that situation. Look at what has happened in places like San Francisco. I mean, is that what you want to be? If you're Baltimore?
Quickly.
Well, I evaluated this when David Modell died 2 weeks ago because I was close to David, and I don't think David got any credit for what was built there, and everything was really seeded by him from the minute he landed, including hiring Billick instead of Terry Donahue at that point, right? But in retrospect, I don't know that it could have gone much better. You're a Baltimore guy. You remember the Colts leaving.
Right.
Bill Bidwell could have come to town. Al Davis could have shown up. George Franieri could have shown up. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
It could have been a mess.
It could have been any of those Boogie Wineglass going broke scenarios, right? Owning the team. I don't know that it could have gone any better.
It went really well, and I think that's why the owner who knows what he's doing is kind of sticking with these guys for the long term. This is what you do when you're a good franchise. You go through these rough spots and you don't be reactionary or dumb, and they're not being that. Now, next year's a huge year.
Well, this is a huge off season.
Huge off season.
And I guess that's why we're talking about it here.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not beating any drums to fire Ozzie or John, but I sort of know how this goes around the industry. When you don't make the playoffs 4 out of 5 years, and if this year is after 8 and 8, if this is the tail where they go to 6 or 5 or 4, because everything goes wrong, and there would be excuses built in. My quarterback got hurt. Marshall Yonda couldn't get on the field. Your best players, our kicker starts shanking things and losing
They could go
games.
to 4, 5, or 6, but they could also go to 10, 11, 12.
I hope they do.
It just goes. You just don't know. I mean, I didn't see the Falcons doing this. I didn't.
You didn't see the Cowboys doing this.
Didn't see the Cowboys with 2 rookies. It changes like that. And think about how the Cowboys, how at times just awful they've been in picking players. And now, boom. Turn around right away. Now they're set for the next 10 years at those 2 key positions. It can change like that anywhere, anytime. And I think the Ravens have a smart enough nucleus where they can do that too.
Well, I think you just mentioned it with the Cowboys. Now, the Ravens don't need a quarterback, but they do need playmakers. I think the thing that we've talked about, you look at the Ravens in Pittsburgh, top to bottom, or let me rephrase that, roster spots 3 or 4 through 53 isn't all that terribly different. In fact, I'd make an argument the Ravens might even be better. But at the difference, Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown at the top, and Ben Roethlisberger is better than Joe Flacco. And even so, they're 6 inches away from beating Pittsburgh on Christmas Day.
Maybe you guys can trade for Antonio Brown.
I know, right?
He's wearing out his welcome there.
Yeah. Dude, it is uncanny how the Ravens have never found a wide receiver in the draft. Never, right? Literally.
Of that, yeah.
Torrey Smith got paid, so I should say,
Torrey is in the right system, a really good number 2 receiver, stretches the field, but they
haven't found a really great number 1 that can, But again, that it transforms overnight.
Yeah.
You get that one, and it doesn't have to be a number 1 pick. Prescott was not a first-round pick. So, I mean, the guy we just talked about, Tom Brady, was in the 6th round.
Right.
So you can find playmakers and Ozzie has found them in the past. Now he's got to do it again.
He is Mike Freeman. He's from Bleacher Report. The book is The Legendary Life of Ken Stabler. Snake. Are we done with him?
I think so.
We're done. You done?
You want more?
I'm done. I'm gone.
Oh, wait till I get your phone number. I'll call you once a month. That'll be fine. Mike Freeman here. The book is The Snake. Hey, congratulations on getting this thing finished. And,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Love having you on. It's great having you.
Thank you.
Mount St. Joe and Gale. How often you get home? No? Not too much.
Not too much.
You missed the crab cakes or no? What's the problem? You're afraid of the riots. You're afraid of West Baltimore, aren't you? I see how this is.
I go to D.C. more.
You're not a real Baltimorean. That's all I'm saying,
I am both. I have dual citizenship. I was born in D.C., raised in Maryland. I do both. I get home a lot. I still got a lot of friends there.
Don't forget your roots.
I get a lot of friends there.
We're getting big time.
Family there. My mom's there. I'm home. I'm there all the time.
Good stuff.
I'm just not at St. Joe as much as I want to be. I want to go back there.
Well, if you had to share his money, you could give something, and they would put your name across something. I went over there.
I'm too cheap.
They got a hotshot kid there playing basketball with the Terps. So
I know.
Life is good.
I know.
Life is good. We'll step out. We'll take a break. We're here at Super Bowl 51 in Houston. It's all at the George Brown Convention Center. By the way, the R in George R. Brown's for Rufus. Makes us think of Shaka Khan.
Okay, got it.
I'm investigating these things while I'm down here in Texas. I'm taking it all in.
Wikipedia is a beautiful thing.
It is. Nasty at WNST.net finds us. We're on Facebook Live as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Taos in Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.